I'm speaking from my heart. This is not scripted. Perfect is an imperfect word. Remind yourself, every single one of us are here for a reason, to build a life of whatever you want it to be. What's up, people? First and foremost, I want to thank all of you for being so amazing and giving me such a great response and feedback on my YouTube channel so far. I think it's important to address the fact that I've been slacking since I started, and I haven't been putting out consistent content. I've recently rethought, why I want to use YouTube and what it means to me, and I think that, I really feel passionate about the community behind me and the people that have given me support since day one. And I want to build a platform for people to find inspiration, love, entertainment, and joy. So I'm going to be taking YouTube more seriously now. I'm going to be posting every week, hopefully more than once a week, on some weeks and special occasions. But anyways, I'm super excited that all of you have been so amazing so far. So let's get into it. This week, for my video, I actually asked you guys on Twitter what you wanted to see. And one thing that I got was that people really wanted to hear, some life advice. And then I asked people to further dive into that. And a lot of the main topics were, self-love and confidence, anxiety, depression, loneliness, school, mindset, how to deal with things, how to change your mindset, and a million things that I feel like kind of all are similar in the way that I want to talk about that. So to start, I'm going to talk about confidence and self-love. I'm going to talk about mindset and how to change your mindset, and I'm going to talk about loneliness, anxiety, and depression. First and foremost, I think that all of these are sensitive topics, and I want to be honest with you guys right now. I'm speaking from my heart. This is not scripted. These are just the notes of the ideas that I want to give, that you guys gave to me. I'm speaking from my heart, and I'm speaking with 100% honesty right now. So, to jump into it. Confidence, self-love, mindset, how to change your mindset, loneliness, anxiety, and depression, in my opinion, have a similar way to think about because of an ecosystem. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. So I think it's important to define confidence and self-love. In my opinion, confidence and self-love are the ideals of finding appreciation, love, acceptance, and reason within oneself. And then furthermore, what that means to you and how you want to go about it. So now that I've defined that, I think to jump into it, confidence and self-love for me have always been somewhat of something that I look at as, one of my favorite things in a way, because when I was younger, I had problems with bullying, and I didn't really get the easiest end of the stick in middle school as well as high school when it came to friends and groups and stuff, but I did have a great time for the most part. I think that it's really important to understand first and foremost that confidence is very hard to build. Self-love can be very, very hard to build. So what I want to give to you guys as a tip, and what I call an ecosystem, that I think relates to all the topics that I'm going to talk about. What that means is, if you cannot find self-love in yourself, and you cannot find confidence, but maybe you see other people around you that have, and maybe it leads into negative thoughts, even loneliness and anxiety, I think that it is very, very important to build an ecosystem of positivity. An ecosystem of positivity is anything that can bring positive and happy and joyous vibes to your life. That could be a book, that could be movies, that could be music, that could be art, it could be photography, it could be anything in the world. It could even be your dog or your mom, literally anything. Why that ecosystem is important is because when you find yourself comparing yourself to others, whether it be on social media or at school or in sports or on TV or in your family, having an ecosystem of this positive, determined dream mindset is where you can find yourself. And one of the most important ways to do that, in my opinion, is to first separate yourself from the world. We're so addicted to everything around us, and people rarely spend time on their own anymore and thinking about themselves and not on their phones and just listening to music or just listening to nature around you. And that is such an important thing to learn. And if you haven't, I really cannot stress anymore that building this ecosystem and finding time to think about yourself and who you are and what you want to be and all those things could not be more important. A little tip on how to do that. Maybe it's before school, maybe it's after school, maybe it's before you go to sleep, maybe it's on the weekends. Whatever it is, even if it's 10 minutes, that you can find yourself to meditate and think about yourself, have no distractions, and ultimately be peaceful, think about what is it that you want? What is it that you want to be? What is it that is going to make you feel confident? And when you think about that, you shouldn't think about the world around you. You shouldn't think about, well, what's cool for other people, and that's going to make me feel confident because it's cool for them, and what's sexy or what's regular for other people. Well, here's the thing, everyone. Nothing in any of our lives is regular. We're humans, and for whatever reason, we all have this idea and fixation that we need to be perfect and we're all this, and some people are perfect and some people aren't. No, none of us are perfect. None of us ever will be perfect. Perfect is an imperfect word. Remind yourself, every single one of us are here for a reason, to build a life of whatever you want it to be. And when you can't find that confidence or self-love, remember your ecosystem, whether it's a book, a movie, a show, a parent, a friend, anything. Take time to reflect. What are these things in my life? What do they mean to me? How can I find happiness? What is it that's going to make me happy? And that leads to my next topic. Mindset and how to change your mindset. Again, this all relates to the same thing. An ecosystem of positivity, A, and B, spending time to think about life, which is something that for whatever reason people just can't afford to do anymore. So to jump into mindset, when I was younger, I always had this tenacity for business, and I wanted to prove a point because my dad was an entrepreneur and I wanted to do things like him. And my mom was the best mom in the world and was always so cool to me and my sisters, and I wanted to raise a family and have a family like them. So I had this mindset, I had this idea in my head of what I wanted things to be like. But things got a little rough. When I was in middle school, I got bullied. When I was in high school, I got really bullied, to the point where I wanted to leave so bad that I pitched my parents an idea for a company, and I went out and did it. So to circle back, mindset. It can start from when you're little, and it builds till when you die. And it's the way that you look at things. It's the way that you think about things. It's the way that you perceive things. It's the way that you want things to be or don't want things to be. And that can all change. So if you find yourself constantly thinking negatively and you don't believe that there's an opportunity for you in the world, and you can't find a sense of direction, and everything else around you is perfect but you're the only thing that's not, first of all, relax. Every one of us, for the most part, at some point in our lives have thought that or dealt with that. And it's very common. So do not feel alone. In order to change that, having an ecosystem of positivity, which I won't define again, but you know what it is, having that ecosystem and taking time to reflect on what it is that you want to be. Let's say it's that you want to be a doctor, but everyone around you is doing good in school and you're not, and your parents are mad, and maybe you can't be on the soccer team because you live too far away from the city where the soccer team is, or whatever it is that you feel is going on and it's creating this negativity for you. Let it go. Again, I'm speaking from my heart right now. This isn't scripted. I'm just spitting out right now, and I hope you guys are finding some kind of peace in this. But anyways, how to change your mindset. Again, think about it, what it is that you want to be. And if you're not thinking about that every day, that's where you're failing in having a positive mindset. Why? Because humans are the sum of their thoughts. All of us. We are the sum of everything that we think about. That's what we are. And we have the golden opportunity daily, nightly, weekly, yearly, every decade, every century to change that. We are the sum of our thoughts. So if you think that things can't happen, and you think that things won't be real, and you think that everything else around you is perfect but maybe you're not, and you think that Johnny and Sammy and Bobby and all these other people are gonna have great times and have all these things that you can't, you're wrong. And why? Because that's here. There's not any actual analytical sheet that shows what every human is and what they're going to equate to be. No. So again, we're the sum of our thoughts. So if you want to think about, whether it's you want to be a doctor and you can't find that positivity to think about that, or you want to be literally anything in life, you need to start thinking about those things. You need to start surrounding yourself with people that can help you think about those things. You need to be watching movies that help you think about that. You need to be reading books that help you think about that. anything that you can do to build an ecosystem in your life. I'm using my hands so much right now. Anyways, anything that you can do to change that mindset and tell yourself, this is what I want to be, this is what I want my thoughts to be, you can do it. The next thing I want to talk about, and the last thing I want to talk about, is loneliness, depression, and anxiety. I'm not saying that all of those are the same thing, but I think that they're a similar topic to, within vicinity, give my thoughts. Again, I'm trying to speak as positively as possible. I want you guys to find hopefully inspiration from this and hopefully some kind of home. Every one of us in our day-to-day lives has felt lonely. Every single one of us has felt some sort of anxiety, and a lot of us feel it on a daily basis, and a lot of us can't find a way to get out of that. And that's a serious problem for some people that they may never get out of. But in my opinion, there are ways, depending on where you are in that thought process or in that mental state. And I understand that it is a mental condition at some extents, that it's hard. And where do you think I'm going to start this again? You guessed it, an ecosystem of positivity. What does that mean again? Anything that you can build around your life, whether it's books, movies, magazines, people, animals, literally anything. That's where you need to start to find your happiness and your getaway. And one thing that, in my opinion, really helps is ranting. Whether that be to a book, to a wall, to a tree, to a friend, to your dog, to your mom, dad, cousin, anyone. Giving yourself the time to think about things and release it and project it out into the world, you feel it literally after, and you don't even need a response. You don't. It's nice sometimes, but sometimes that's not what we need. Sometimes all we need to do is let it out. And I promise you, I do this all the time. You have no idea. I'm constantly stressed. I push myself so hard because I want to find success in my day-to-day life, and what that to me means is happiness. So I put a lot of stress and pressure on myself so that I can have that. And that's because I have a lot of projects and a lot of things I'm juggling. But anyways, as simplistic or complicated as your life may be, it's my best friend's dog. It's so crazy. Anyways, I think that when you rant, like I said, you just simply feel it. So when you feel lonely, anxious, depressed, sad, anything, find someone to talk to, whether it be an object, a human, an animal, or something in between. Find something to let out to. And don't even expect a response, because life is about learning things by yourself. Of course, it is so important to have people around you that can teach you things, people around you that can inspire you. But at the end of the day, life is worth living because of each one of us. So you have to find that in yourself. Again, when you talk and let things out, you will find yourself in a new position and in a new mindset. Because I can't even explain it, but once you try, I promise you, you will find that your mind has changed just slightly, because you let it out. Surround yourself with that ecosystem. Find something that can make you feel positive. Find something that can make you feel worth it, because I promise you, every single one of us are. So find that, hone it into an ecosystem, and live that every single day. Confidence and self-love, mindset and how to change your mindset, loneliness, depression, anxiety. To sum it up, life's hard. It's not easy for anyone, but we're all here for a reason. And if you can't find that, if you find things being difficult, and you find yourself stuck in bad mindsets, and you find yourself being anxious or unconfident and not loving yourself, build an ecosystem. Let things out. Find love. And most importantly, spread love. Because you will start learning that when you spread love, it comes back. And it's a life circle. Givers gain. So when you start to build that around you, that's what your life will be. That is a summary of what I talked about in this video. I really hope that you guys can find some sort of inspiration and positivity and warmth in this video and the messages that I'm trying to give off to you. So to not drag it on too much longer, you know, I'm here for all of you guys. You're always here for me. And, you know, I want this to be a community of love, support, and inspiration for one another. Every single one of us fuck up. Every single one of us have problems. Every single one of us can, you know, find ourselves in negative thoughts. So just keep in mind, this right here is a home for you and a home for me. Let's be a family together. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all very much.